Alright, kicking off right away with fighting the first boss of the game. Just for the sake of it, going to translate what the spider says again, although I'm pretty sure it was, like, damn you all, I'm going to drink everyone's blood. Or something along those lines. Let's see. Yeah, because I did translate as, like, the last thing last time. Yeah, okay. That's new. The spider demon definitely didn't speak in the English version. So that's impressive. Like, some definitely had laughs and such, but not actual spoken lines. Oh, okay, yeah, no, that thing hit us with a speed down. Okay. Well, here's hoping Kagome gets her turn before the spider comes back. Uh-oh. Oh, that might not be the case. Oh, good crit. Yeah, okay. And I think Kagome's down. Oh! Oh, that's real close. Oh, no. Huh! I didn't think it would be that short. Well, InuYasha learned. If I remember right, this is the robe of the fire rat. Oh no. Oh no, this is flying blade and blood claw, so blades of blood. So hey, at least now he has his AoE and essentially overtake Shippo. Then again, Shippo's AoE is special, so it does more damage. Well. That fight was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. Or than I remember it being from the English version. Then again, I think the English version is also pretty short. Let's see. Okay. So according to the translation, Kururugi is going, is everyone okay? While in the English version, he goes, phew, is everyone okay? So, pretty much the same thing in both versions. And of course, now we're going to get Kagome thanking Kururugi, Shippo getting angry with Kururugi, and InuYasha not giving a crap. I guess Kagome... Let's see. In the English version, Kagome says, "Thank you for helping us. I thought we were done for." While the translation says, "Thank you, you saved me. I was so close to being killed." I think for the situation, the translation should be, "You saved us. We were so close to being killed." Which would line up a little closer to what the English version had. Okay, yeah. So the English version changed the entire context of Shippo's dialogue. The English version had Shippo berate Kururugi with, "That was really dangerous. What were you thinking?" But the translation is, "You're right. That was really close. That was..." And then trails off. So Shippo is, in the Japanese version, is agreeing with Kagome, like, or is pretty much taking Kagome's side of, like, "Hey, thanks, Kururugi, you saved us. We were almost done, like, we were almost dead." So it's interesting that the English version decided to make Shippo the asshole here. And then, sorry, InuYasha. Let's see. But I guess their choice to I guess the English version's choice to have Shippo be the asshole who berates Kururugi was their attempt to make InuYasha's next line fit better, which in English was, "Oh, shut up. Everyone's safe now. That's all that matters." But the translation is, "Shut up. Everyone was safe, so it's fine." So, given the translations, the way I'm seeing it is, Kagome and Shippo are both thanking Kururugi for saving them, but InuYasha's just like, you don't need to praise them so much. We're fine, so shut up. And then, of course, Shippo getting on InuYasha's case. The translation says, even so, why don't you at least say thank you? While in the English version, Shippo tells InuYasha you can at least say thanks, which contradicts his earlier line in the English version of berating Kururugi. It fits better with his English version because, again, both Kagome and Shippo thanked Kururugi for saving them. InuYasha's the only one who doesn't, so Shippo's trying to say, hey, like, why don't you at least say thanks? Because Kururugi deserves it. So it's definitely interesting that the English version went that route.
そんなこといいよ。ちょっとだけど役に立てて僕も嬉しいし。
And let's see. Of course, Kururugi being the very humble type. Or modest, I guess. The translation says, that's fine. I'm happy I was able to help, even if just a little. Well, in the English version says, that's not necessary. I'm glad I was able to help even a little. Which, while definitely worded a bit differently, like, it's the same thing.
まあ、あれだな。
And then the translation from InuYasha here is, huh, well, I guess so. While in the English version, it's a simple, well. But of course, there's more to it because dialogue boxes. So in the English version, InuYasha goes, well, I guess you aren't totally useless. While InuYasha's response is,
おめえも全然使えねえってわけじゃねえみたいだな。
Alright, so taking the translations, InuYasha's response was, huh, well, I guess so. Okay, that's a weird start. But I think the first one is supposed to be a quick thanks, but then followed up with, it doesn't seem like, okay. No, I have to read out this weird wording from the translator. So the translator turned this out as hello to, it doesn't seem like it's completely useless. I think it's supposed to be thanks. It doesn't seem like you're completely useless. Which would be a bit more in line with InuYasha, like a reluctant thanks because he's not used to thanking people or being thanked. But him saying the, I guess you're not completely useless is still in line. So the English version definitely got rid of a little bit.
Huh?
これでも礼を言ってるつもりなんじゃ。ひねくれたやつじゃからの。
And of course, that brief bit that I skipped is Kururugi just being confused by InuYasha's attempt to say thanks. And then in the English version, Shippo's response was, that's his way of saying thank you, he's just angry. The translation is, Okay, Shippo. That translation came out weird. The translation says, I thought I was thanking you. I'm a stubborn guy. I'd probably go with a mixture of the English version and the translation. Of course, getting rid of the I thought I was thanking you to that's his way of saying thank you. But get rid of the he's just angry too. He's just stubborn.
そうなんだ。
All right. According to the translation of this, Kururugi's responding with, "That's right," while the English version had Kururugi say, "I see." I do think the translation would be better as, "Ah, I see."
うるせえんだよ、尻尾。
Of course, only for InuYasha to say just shut up, Shippo, in the English version, while the translation is shut up, Shippo, without the just, so either one is fine.
あれ?
All right. But then, yeah, this is just a simple, huh? Because Kururugi sees something out of the corner of their eye. Alright, and then here, InuYasha is showing his curiosity. In the English version, just says a simple, what? While the translation to this, InuYasha is saying, what is it? It did sound like a bit of an annoyed tone. Like, kind of going, what is it now?
あそこで何か動いてるよ。雲の眉みたいな形してるけど。
Alright. Ooh, okay. Kind of interesting. Oh, wait, no, maybe not. Okay, no. So, the translation here is, there's something moving over there. It looks like a spider's cocoon. While the English version went with, something's moving over there, it looks like a spider's cocoon. So, again, similar enough that it doesn't really matter.
まさか雲の卵じゃないわよね。
And then Kagome, with a wary, they're not spider eggs, are they? While in the English version, says, oh no, it's not a spider's egg, is it? Which, again, they're close enough that it doesn't really matter.
カゴメさん、変なこと言わないでよ。
Okay, this one's an interesting read because in the English version, it very much sounded like Kururugi was whining. One sec. Yeah, like in the English version, at least for Michiru, it sounded like Kururugi was whining. Don't say that, Kagome. But here, it was a bit of a calmer voice, but I do think you could hear a bit of fear in it with, because the translation is, Kagome-san, don't say weird things. Which, don't say weird things, you could say is, like, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but Kururugi pointed out the cocoon. Kagome is hoping it's not a cluster of spider eggs, and because the Japanese word that Kururugi used definitely means weird or strange. I don't remember what the exact word was, though. I don't really know how I'm trying to justify this. Oh, right. InuYasha's dialogue. Here the translator says, "Hey guys, why are you scared?" Honestly, don't know how I feel about that one, when the English version has, "What are you so afraid of?" Like, contextually it's the same thing, I just don't like the wording of, "Hey guys, why are you scared?" Holy crap! No, the English version absolutely destroyed this child. Like, the voice for the English version is so bad. Oh no. Let's see. So in the English version, Sachi says, "That was scary. Thank you so much." Whereas the translation is, "Oh, that was scary. Thank you, brothers." Although I think I'm pretty sure, given the scene and that InuYasha was the one that cut her out, technically it shouldn't be on, technically the translation shouldn't be Big Brother, even though she did say Oni-chan. I think it's supposed to be, "Thank you, mister." Because I am aware that One-san, while it does mean big sister, it can also mean older lady. So Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to translate to brothers or big brother. It's supposed to be thank you, mister.
大丈夫？痛いところとかはない？
And here, Kagome is saying, are you okay? Is there anywhere that hurts? While the English version asks, are you okay? Does anything hurt? So, pretty much the same thing.
ちょっと苦しかったけど大丈夫。
Yeah. God, hearing the Japanese voice for this character, the English version just sounds so much worse. So in the English version, Sachi responds with, it was a little painful, but I'm okay. While the translation says, yeah, it was a bit painful, but I'm okay. So, pretty much the same thing. Not gonna give an issue over that dialogue.
君、もしかしたらさっちゃん？
Okay, this is interesting. So the English version, Kururugi asks, is your name Sachi? And as we just heard in the Japanese version, Kururugi said Sa-chan, which would be a form of a nickname. But the translation went with, maybe you're Sachiko? Which I'm guessing Sachiko is supposed to be her full name, but for the translation... for my take on the translation, I would probably have it say, might you be Sachi? Or could you be Sachi? To ask, like, hey, are you this individual?
そうだけど、なんで知ってるの？
Alright, and here... No, come on. Alright, so according to the translation, Sachi responds with, yeah, but how do you know? While the English version went with, yes, but how do you know? So I would just go with the Google Translate result of... yeah, but how do you know? Just, again, so that there's less usage of yes as the translation for any form of confirmation, which, granted, I have changed every instance where the English version used yes as a form of confirmation to yeah, that the Google Translate gave. But that's also because I feel like, given the situations, I feel like just saying yeah instead of yes were just better. You can disagree with me if you want. That's just what I think.
よかった。僕たち、君を助けるよう、君のお父さんとお母さんに頼まれたんだ。
Alright, and here... the translation for Kururugi's dialogue is, thank goodness, your mom and dad asked us to help you. While the English version went with, Great! Your mom and dad asked us to find you.
よかったの無事で。これで一安心じゃ。
And then from Shippo, the translation is, "Thank goodness you're safe. I can finally relax." While the English version, he says, "I'm glad you're safe now. What a relief." Honestly, either one is fine, the English or the Japanese translated. Just, if I were to go with the Japanese translated version, instead of "I can finally relax," just change it to "we can finally relax," because now they don't have to worry about her safety at the moment.
まだ食われてなかったんだな。って俺たちも帰ろうぜ。
And here, InuYasha's response is, according to the translator, "So you haven't been eaten yet? Let's go home too." While the English version went with, at least he hadn't eaten you yet. Let's go, everyone. I actually would probably go with the English version. Just because, like, the wording sounds better to me. If I were to go with the translated version, instead of "let's go home too," I'd have it probably say "let's get you home." And then just Kururugi agreeing. And thankfully, even the Japanese version of the game warps us straight to Akebi Village. See here, Kururugi's translated dialogue is, "Everyone is really worried about you, so please come home quickly." I think it's supposed to say "please get home quickly." Because the English version, Kururugi says, "Everyone is really worried about you. You should go home right away." So yeah, changing the "so please come home quickly" to "please get home quickly" would be a better translation. Otherwise, the English version is perfectly fine. Alright, and then Sachi's response is, "Yes, I understand. Thank you so much," according to the translation. While the English version, she said, "Okay, thank you so much." I know they're pretty much the same thing between the English version and what the translation gave, but I actually would probably go with the translated version, because it's a child saying that, like, they understand that's the, like, that is what they should do. Like, they should do as they're told in this instance, like, get straight home. 1 second. I just needed to touch up something. And of course, since I did this in the English version,
ねえ、角樹さんって言ったっけ？あのおばあさんにお礼していった方が良くないかしら。
alright. So in the English version, if you try to leave the village after Sachiko runs off, Kagome stops you and says, "Hey, what's her name again?" "That's right, Grandma Kakuju. We should probably thank her." While the Japanese translation is, "Hey, shouldn't we go and thank that old lady? Shouldn't we go and thank that old lady? Her name was Kakuju-san?"
"大雲を倒すことができたのも、あのおばあさんから教えてもらった式神のおかげだし。
And then Kagome follows up with, according to the translation, okay, the translation worded weirdly. The translation has Kagome saying, "I was able to defeat the giant spider thanks to the Shikigami that the old lady taught me." It should be, "We were able to defeat the giant spider thanks to the Shikigami that the old lady taught you." In the English version, Kagome says, "We were able to destroy the spider demon because she taught us how to use the power of Shikigami." So, changing the slight bit of wording from the translation, I do think that is better than the English version, just because the English version still says because she taught us how to use the power of Shikigami, even though only Kururugi was taught. So,
そうじゃそうじゃ。どこかの誰かさんはさっぱり当てにならんかったしの。
And then Shippo's response, according to the translation, is, "That's right, that's right. Someone out there was completely unreliable." Well, in the English version, Shippo says, "That's a good idea. We sure couldn't depend on that certain someone who said he was gonna take care of it." Contextually, they're the same thing. Honestly, I'd be fine with going with either or. Either the English version or the translation. Alright. And then in the English version, InuYasha says, "Shut up, Shippo." But according to both translations that I have, the D-Bell translator has InuYasha saying, "Shippo, you son of a bitch," while Google Translate is, "Shippo, you bastard." Again, could really go for either or, but if translating for the English audience at the time, going with "Shut up, Shippo" definitely makes a bit more sense. Otherwise, keeping in line with InuYasha's personality, calling Shippo a bastard is perfectly in line with InuYasha, especially since the English dub has had characters say the word bastard before. And then Kururugi just Just having a bit of a laugh over the two arguing. Just making sure. Hold up. Yeah, I couldn't really hear Kururugi's laugh from the English version. So, whatever.
そうだね。そうしよう。
Alright, but... according to the translation of this, Kururugi says, yeah, let's do that. Or, yeah, let's do that. While in the English version says, yes, that's a good idea. Honestly, could go with either one. Although I would probably stick with the Google Translate result, but instead of yeah, have Kururugi say, I agree, let's do that. Or, agreed, let's do that. So, let's go pay Kakuju a visit.
おや、お前さんか。少ししか時間が経っていないのに、ずいぶん経験を積んだようじゃな。
Alright. And here, Kakuju is saying, oh, it's you. It's only been a short time, but you seem to have gained quite a bit of experience, according to the translation. While the English version, Kakuju says, well, you haven't been gone long, but you've already experienced so much. The wording is definitely different, but the context is very much the same. Honestly, I could go with either what the English version went with or the translation.
引き紙を使う力がずいぶんと強くなったように見受けられるが、一体何があったというのじゃ。
And then Kakuju continues with, your ability to use Shikigami seems to have gotten a lot stronger, but what on earth happened? While the English version says, no, come on. The English version, Kakuju says, it looks like you've learned how to use the power of Shikigami much better now. Tell me what happened. Again, contextually, they're pretty much the same, just heavily worded differently, but I do think I'd go with the translated result.
うん。実は。
And then in the English version, sorry, in the English version, Kururugi says, well, and then it trails off because it's going to cut to black as a way to signify a passage of time while they explain what happened. while the translated version is, yeah, actually. But I think I'd go with the... I don't know if I'd say if it's become some... if it turned into something of a meme, but... for translating this, I would have Kururugi say, well, you see, before it trails off.
なるほど。妖怪を退治してきたとは驚きじゃ。式神を使う力も上達するわけじゃな。
Alright. So the translation here is, I see. It's surprising that you've exterminated monsters. Your ability to use Shikigami will also improve. While the English version, Kakuju says, I'm surprised that you defeated the spider. You've gotten much better at using the power of Shikigami. Once again, contextually, the same thing, just worded a fair bit differently. But I do think I would, again, go with the translated version, just reworded to... let's see. What would I change? Of course, actually, yeah, no, let's see. I would change the I see. It's surprising that you've exterminated monsters to... I see. I'm surprised that you defeated the demon. Because, story-wise, the only demon that should have been in that temple is the spider demon. But your ability to use Shikigami will also improve. I actually would reword that a little bit as well, to your ability to use Shikigami has also improved. Just to kind of go along with the English versions of, you've gotten much better at using the power of Shikigami. Just because I am also getting a little... I also have been getting a little sick of the English version saying the power of Shikigami or Shikigami power, when the Japanese version does not say that.
しかもお前さんからはこれからも多くの妖怪たちと戦うことになる予感がするわい。
And then Kakuju continues with, moreover, I have a feeling that you will be fighting many more monsters in the future, according to the translation. While in the English version, Kakuju says, but I have a premonition that you will be fighting many more demons from now on. I actually do think I'd go with the English version here. Just because of its use of I have a premonition, which I do think would fit more in line with Kakuju as a character, because Kakuju is much older, wiser, and experienced, so it just feels like saying I have a premonition would be a bit more in Kakuju's vocabulary wheelhouse, rather than just saying I have a feeling. Granted, they more or less mean the same thing, but just worded for English, I do like premonition fitting better.
これならあるいは。
あ
see. And then here. Ooh, interesting. The English version. Okay. So the English version, Kakuju ends this exchange with, "But there's hope." But the English version, or sorry, the translated version, has Kakuju end with, maybe this is, with a pause. Although, according to the Deep L translation, Kakuju says, "This could be," again, trailing off, which makes things a bit interesting. Because with the English version, Kakuju saying, "But there's hope," very much is Kakuju saying that you'll eventually get strong enough to fight those demons no problem. But Kakuju saying, having this trailing off of, maybe this is, sounds, definitely gives more of a feeling that Kakuju's having some idea play in their head. And having beaten the English version as many times as I have, I might have a feeling what Kakuju is talking about. But since I don't know if there, like, what changes there might be going forward from the Japanese version, I'm a little interested to find out what Kakuju, like, trailing off like this could mean. Oh, now this one's interesting. Because that's definitely more than what InuYasha says in the English version. So in the English version, InuYasha's immediate response to everything Kakuju said, plus, "But there's hope," is, "What a stupid old woman." But the translated version, InuYasha is saying, "What an impatient old hag. Tell me exactly what you want." The one problem I have here is InuYasha saying impatient, because Kakuju is definitely not coming off as impatient here. I do think instead of impatient, it's supposed to be annoying. But then, of course, also change "tell me exactly what you want" to "tell us exactly what you want," because this very much gives InuYasha a sense that implies that InuYasha has a feeling that Kakuju is hiding something. Or, like, there's something that Kakuju isn't exactly telling everyone. Or something, like, just based on how Kakuju just kind of trailed off in the Japanese version, according to the translation. So InuYasha's like, "Okay, no, something's up. Explain."
ほら犬夜叉、失礼でしょ。ごめんなさいおばあさん。
And then, of course, Kagome stepping in, calling out InuYasha with, according to the translation, "Hey, InuYasha, that was rude. I'm sorry, Granny." While the English version, Kagome says, "You're so rude, InuYasha. Sorry, Kakuju." again, reworded differently, but contextually similar enough. I'm honestly fine with either or. Though, of course, based on the English dub of the anime, I don't think Kagome would say Granny, so it would probably be something more like, "Hey, InuYasha, that was rude. I'm sorry, Kakuju." All right. According to the translation, Kakuju's response is, "That's fine," while in the English version, Kakuju responds with, "That's okay." Hold on. I think... Yeah, okay, no. I thought the English version had Kakuju give a little bit of a laugh, like... as a meaning of... It doesn't bother me, or something. Let's see.
式神にはいろいろな能力を持ったものがあるのじゃが。
Let's see. Here, oh, okay, here we go. So, for context, the English version first. In the English version, Kakuju says there are many different uses for Shikigami, but the translation here is, there are Shikigami with various abilities. So the Japanese version is definitely going into the implication that Shikigami is not the power. Shikigami are familiars. Because from this, I mean, it kind of explains itself. Like, there are Shikigami with various abilities, so each Shikigami has a different set of abilities. But the English version's implication is that you can use Shikigami for different things. So the English version is trying to imply that Shikigami is like a singular power, but the Japanese version is like, no, there are different kinds.
今のお前さんなら岩を崩す式神だけでなく。
Let's see. And then the English version continues with, it can do more than just break rocks. While the Japanese version continues with, if you're like this now, you don't just have the Shikigami that breaks rocks. So again, the English version is implying that Shikigami is a singular power, while according to the Japanese version, it's suggesting that the Shikigami that Kururugi has now is a destructive type from the mention of breaking rocks. And instead, Kakuju is implying that Kururugi either has or can gain Shikigami that can do other things.
戦いの場で力を発揮する式神をも操ることができるじゃろう。
Let's see. Ooh. Oh, here we go. So, the English version, Kakuju ends this explanation with, you can use it when you're fighting. But the translated version, Kakuju says, you can even control Shikigami that exert their power on the battlefield. So, there is very much a change of context around Shikigami between the English and Japanese version. And very much, I prefer the Japanese version based on these translations. But with that, I think it's time to go for a quick break. And we're back.
もし戦いの式神が必要なら、わしのそばに来るがいい。
Let's see. Oh. Oh, this is interesting. Oh. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, the context still changes. So in the English version, Kakuju here says, if you want to learn the power of Shikigami to help you when you fight, come stand beside me. While the translation of this has Kakuju say, if you need a battle spirit, come to me. Ooh. Ooh. I need to know what's said next before my mind starts going off.
そしてしばらく目をつぶってじっとしておるのじゃ。
Okay, so the English version continues with, and close your eyes and be very still. Basically repeating how Kakuju awoke Kururugi's power. So, let's see. The Japanese version, the translation was, if you need a battle spirit, come to me. And ends with, then close your eyes for a while and stay still. So, that's still the same. So it's still interesting with, if you need a battle spirit, because that implies that Kakuju gives a Shikigami to Kururugi. Oh. Oh. That's interesting. That's interesting. And then in the English version, Kururugi responds with a simple okay. The DeepL translator translates this as, yeah, okay. While Google Translate translates it as, yeah, I understand. I actually do think I'd change it. get rid of the yeah, and change I understand to all right. But then for the English version, start with oh, how the hell do I describe this? So for this, going on the English version, I'd have Kururugi give us a sound of confirmation, like, and follow it with all right, like, all right, because that is pretty much what it sounded like here in Japanese, where Kururugi went, wakata. Although I probably pronounced that wrong. Whoops. But I think to those listening, you understand what I'm talking about.
「これでお前さんも戦いの式神を呼び出せるようになったはずじゃ。」
Alright, let's see. Let's see. Oh! This changes so much! This completely changes what I understood about this! Oh no! Oh no! So, the English version, Kakuju says, now you have learned to call upon the power of Shikigami when you fight. The implication there being is, now you can actually start fighting. But the translation here says, now you should be able to summon your own battle spirit. Kururugi is not simply a backline caster. They are a summoner. Oh! Oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is very interesting to me. Ooh. Ooh, sorry, give me a sec. Oh. Sorry about that. Ooh. Oh, this is insane. Like, this is complete context change on how Kururugi's power works between the English and Japanese versions, and I am all for it.
おいババア本当かよすげえじゃねえか
So, InuYasha's response in the English version is, hey Granny, is this for real? That's cool. Which, honestly, doesn't really have that much weight with the implication that Kururugi is just using the power of Shikigami to fight. It's like, okay, whoop-de-doo. It's just another power. But with the implication from the translated version that Kururugi is summoning things to fight. InuYasha's translated response is, hey, old hag, is that for real? That's amazing. Sounds so much better because he's like, oh shit, this Kururugi summons stuff. Cool. Oh, damn, that's good. speaking of, I would probably still go with the translated result instead of what the English version went with, because InuYasha is absolutely the type who would still call Kakuju an old hag, even when giving her praise, as opposed to saying granny. But oh, this is good. This is some good stuff right here.
それでは式神を戦いの場で操る方法を教えることにしようかの。
Oh. Oh, this. Oh, no. Oh, my mind is a-going. My mind is just going right now. So, in the English version, Kakuju then says, "Now I will teach you how to use the power of Shikigami when you are fighting." Which, again, the English version makes mention of the power of Shikigami, suggesting that that Shikigami itself is a power type. Similar to, like, spiritual power and whatnot. And so Kakuju is going to teach Kururugi, like, how to actually make use of it in a fight. But the Japanese version, Kakuju says, "Well then, I will teach you how to control Shikigami in battle." Which, again, considering just earlier Kakuju said that Kururugi can now summon Shikigami, makes so much sense! Because now, like, the idea is that you're controlling the summoned spirit in a fight. Oh! Jesus Christ! This is insane to me right now!
はい、お願いします。
And then Kururugi's response from the translation and in the English version is "yes, please." So that's perfectly fine. Alright! Let's have a look-see. Also, hi, character select music, and I guess save menu music. Let's see. So, of course, now we get the tutorial for how to use our techniques. Even though we've already used some by now with InuYasha, Shippo, and Kagome. So, the English version has this information as: to use Shikigami, there were 3 commands: normal, special, and cooperative. The translation the translation, however, came out weird. The translation Google Translate worded it as: the Shikigami it is used with 3 types of commands: normal moves, special moves, and combo moves. It's interesting that the Google Translate says combo moves, while The Deep L translation says coordinated techniques, but the English version of the game calls them cooperative. Which, like, yeah, sure, can all mean the same thing, but damn. Let's see. Like, the English version translated it just fine, honestly. Just give me a sec. I want to check something right now. These technique names. Huh. Oh! What? Oh! Hold on! Oh! The screen is different, too! Yeah, okay, because, so the English version on this screen, and they show the special techniques. But what's shown on the Japanese version are all the normal techniques. Because, for the special techniques, they have, they list Grieving Flame, Protective Light, Flame of Judgment, Great River Blessing, and Light of Judgment. But the Japanese version is, shows Raging Flame, Sealed Blue Sky, Great River Blessing, no, Great River Offering. I don't know why it translated as Blessing, because Great River Blessing is the stronger version. And Loss of the Blue Sky, which, if that's what I think it is... no, wait. Oh, yeah, no, that's Blue Sky Confusion. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I'm going absolutely apeshit right now. Oh, no. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is pure gold for me right now. I know there are some other people who would, absolutely go crazy at some of this information. That... Oh. Okay. So, the tutorial continues. In the English version, says Kururugi will learn how to use the different forms of Shikigami as you complete each level. The translation says, okay, Google Translate turned it out a little weird. According to Google Translate, this dialogue says, as her rank increases, Michiru learns various Shikigami. Since it should be gender-based, depending on who you're playing as, it should say as his rank increases, but I'm going to say as their rank increases, Kururugi learns various Shikigami. Which is more context change. Because the English version says that Kururugi will learn how to use the different forms of Shikigami. Again, implying that that Shikigami is a single power type. But based on the translation that says Kururugi learns various Shikigami, this is again setting up that Kururugi is a summoner and they're going to gain more different Shikigami. And I am just going absolutely insane right now over this. Let's see, so on this one, it's displaying the energy gauge, which you gain 1 joule for every 100 counts of energy. Actually, 1 second. I want to see what that says. Energy. Okay, so yeah, energy gauge lights up every 100. English version says energy gauge flashes per 100. Okay. So I don't know when the last time I've been so excited about this game was. Let's see. So the English version of this screen says, in order to use SP tech and co-op tech, or special techniques and cooperative techniques, you need enough energy. The translation says, in order to use special moves and combo moves, you will need energy. Let's see. And then the English version says, you will gain energy if you receive damage, damage the enemy, or destroy the enemy. The translated version says, spirit accumulates when you receive damage, deal damage to enemies, or defeat them. So your energy is your spirit level, essentially. Like, I know this isn't plot important, but this is still important stuff to me, so that's why I'm translating it. Otherwise, I'd skip through it. But whatever. English version, if you have 100 energy, 1 energy gauge will light up. Translation is, when you reach 100 energy, 1 of the energy gauges will light up. English version, you use more energy whenever you use a stronger technique. Translated version, the more powerful the technique, the more energy it uses. Of course. Like, they're just... The translation for explaining this stuff is pretty spot on. Worded differently, of course, but otherwise, perfectly fine. And here we get the explanation for our co-op techs, or combo moves, as it's apparently being translated as. Let's see. Yeah. English version. Oh, actually. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be curious what the names of these combo techniques are, because in the English version they're very much abbreviated because of character limit, but the co-op tech names are the double-edged sword tactic, the double attack tactic, and the double destruction tactic. Let's see, the description here is, when your friendships become stronger, you can use the co-op tech command. The Japanese translated version is, co-op techniques become available as your friendship with your allies increases. But, oh, okay. So the English translations for the co-op tech names aren't that different. Like, they're not that different from what translations I'm getting off of this. But, well, with one exception. So the first one, the double-edged sword tactic, which they abbreviate to dbl.ed.sw.tactic. The translated result is the double-edged strategy. And then for the double attack tactic is the double strike strategy. Then the double destruction tactic is apparently translated as a plan for double extinction. So I think following the previous two, it should be double extinction strategy, but no, that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. Oh, one sec. Sorry about that. Let's see. And here, the English version translated this as, using the co-op tech command uses 2 times the energy. Or uses two times energy, but this is more powerful than the special tech command. Running it through the translator says, it consumes the energy of 2 people, but has even greater power than a special move. Let's see, the English version then says, you have to wait until the other person's turn to be able to use the co-op tech command. I do think the English version is a bit worded badly. They should have said, you have to wait until the other person's turn for the co-op tech command to activate or something, because the way the English version worded it makes it sound like you have to wait until the second person's turn and then use the same co-op tech command from them in order for it to go off. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. The Japanese version worded it a hell of a lot better. However, it will not be activated until it is the partner's turn to perform the combo. Yeah, that came out a lot better. Let's see. And then the English version ends the tutorial with, be aware of the enemy and ally turns. And the translation says, it's best to use it while carefully watching the order of enemies and allies.
どうじゃ？式紙を使った戦い方は分かったかな？
see. So, the English version, Kakuju says, do you think you've learned how to use Shikigami in a fight? Well, the translation has this as, so, do you understand how to fight using Shikigami? Just looking at what's written in both the English version and what the translated came out, you'd think that there's no difference. But, there's definitely a difference when you look at the context of what's going on here. Because, again, running off the high suggestion that the Japanese version has been going through, that Kururugi is summoning Shikigami to fight, Kakuju asking, do you understand how to fight using Shikigami, is the suggestion of, is the suggestion of, have you figured out how to command your Shikigami while in a fight? Whereas the English version, again, they've been suggesting that Shikigami is a power type. Again, similar to Ki energy from Dragon Ball and whatnot. So, the English version is being like, do you think you've learned how to manipulate it?
Mm, まだ不安だけど、大体は。
And then, according to the translation, Kururugi says, well, I'm still a bit unsure, but for the most part. While the English version, Kururugi responds with, I'm still a little uncertain, but I'm pretty sure I got it. In this case, yeah, they are similar enough that I could go with either or. Personally, I'd go with something of a mixture of starting with the translated version with, well, I'm still a bit unsure, and then use the rest from the English version, but I'm pretty sure I got it. Or, but I think I understand it.
今はそれでよい。そのうちに自由自在に操れるようになるじゃろう。
All right, and then the translation has Kakuju saying, yes, that's fine for now. Soon you'll be able to control it freely. While the English version has Kakuju say, that's good for now. Soon you'll be able to completely control it. Which, surprisingly, is fine on both the English and translation side, because they both mention controlling the Shikigami. But again, the context and implication is what's different behind it. The wording is fine. It's just the context that has to be taken into account.
そしてもっと経験を重ね、式神を使いこなす力を高めることで、戦いの式神だけでなく、
Oh, you mentioned Shikigami twice here. Oh. Oh, why did you mention it twice? Let's see. By gaining more, according to the translation, and by gaining more experience and improving your ability to use Shikigami, you will be able to use them not only in battle. And while the English version says, after you gain more experience and learn to use it efficiently, not only will you be able to use it when you fight. Yeah, okay. So this is also like a complete context change between the English and Japanese version. But again, the English version heavily changed the context of Shikigami to begin with, so that's going to be a given from now on. So, of course, Kakuju saying the whole after you gain more experience and learn to use it efficiently, you'll be able to use it not only when you fight, referring to the Shikigami as it, again, as a singular power type. The Japanese version says, as you gain experience and improve your ability to use the Shikigami, you'll be able to use them not only in battle. Again, so to your ability to use Shikigami to command them, be able to use them not only in battle. So again, like the plural use of them to refer to the Shikigami is they're definitely summoned spirits. Oh, this is messing up my head in a very good way.
さまざまな式神たちも使えるようになるはずじゃ。
And then the translation continues with, you should be able to use a variety of Shikigami as well. Which, again, the different varieties of Shikigami summon spirits. The English version, then, interestingly, seems to try and pivot back into the different types of Shikigami by having Kakuju say, but you will also learn to use the many different powers of the Shikigami. Which, again, is just a little interesting because in the English version, they've been suggesting that Shikigami power is its own power type. And so then they keep referring to the power of Shikigami. And of course, Kakuju's description of it, it's a power that exists in all living things. Again, trying to equate it to ki energy. So adding the different powers of the Shikigami is a little interesting. But of course, I'm going to stick with the Japanese translation because holy shit. This is absolutely wild to me.
本当に?
Okay, those translations both came out very weird. For whatever reason, Google Translate translated this dialogue from Kururugi as very, while the English version went with really.
はあ、本当だと思う。
Which, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the English version handled that better because Kakuju's response translated it. Hold on. Okay, so the English version had Kakuju respond with, "Yes, really. You should go now. I'm sure we'll meet again." Kakuju's response here, translated, It ends on a period, though, so it's a sentence stop. So I don't know why Google Translate decided to translate this as, "Oh, even if it's true."
さあ、もう行くがよい。またどこかで会う時もあるじゃろう。
So, I don't know. I just... Those translation results between Kururugi and Kakuju were weird, so I'll definitely go with Kururugi's "Really?" followed by Kakuju responding with "Yes, really." And then with this, Kakuju says, "Well, you should go now. Maybe we'll meet again somewhere." Which is pretty much the same thing. Hey, Aldenex. You! You missed out on some good stuff, man. Oh, this stream turned out some interesting information.
わかった。
What
あ
happened?
りがとう、角獣ばあちゃん。
So, okay. So, Aldenex. How would you how would you explain how Kururugi Shikigami works based on the English version? And then, Kururugi responds with, "Okay, thank you, Grandma Kakuju." While the translation here is, "Okay, I understand. Thank you, Grandma Kakuju." So, personally, I'd probably go with the translated version. Here we go. In the English version, the description of this is Kururugi has learned how to use Raging Flame. Like Ki, although last stream it did say it was some godly power. So yeah, last stream, when Kakuju described Shikigami, Kakuju did not describe it as this essence that exists in all things in the universe. Kakuju instead described it as a divine power. So, after defeating the spider demon, which went a hell of a lot faster than I thought, Kakuju outright says that Kururugi can summon a battle spirit. The Shikigami are summon familiars. Kururugi fights by summoning. They're not energy blasts. He actually summons things. So Google Translate translates this as Kururugi is learned flame rage. Yeah. Very, very misworded, but alright. Do you have anything else to say here, Kakuju? Because I don't think I talked to you here in the English version. Pretty sure I got Raging Flame and got out. Okay, the translation is maybe we'll meet again someday. No. Okay, I did talk to Kakuju in the English version after this. Let's see.
それではな。
Let's see. Right, and then ends on a well then. While the English version had Kakuju end on a well with that. Oh, one moment. Yeah, no, all the next you might have to rewatch the VOD to catch me just losing my mind. Because no, the absolute change in context is insane. And of course,
なあ、幸とかいう娘、無事に家に帰れたのじゃろうか。
if you try to leave,
様子を見ていかんか。
if you try to leave after speaking with Kakuju, you get stopped and told, "Hey, maybe go check in on Sachi." Probably will. Yeah. I mean, it'll be up on YouTube tomorrow, or if you're already watching this on YouTube. Hi, it's up today. Let's see. So in the English version, Shibbo says, "Hey, I wonder if that girl Sachi got home safely. Why don't we go check?" While the translation says, "Hey, did that girl named Sachi get home safely? Want to go and check on her?" I actually do think I preferred the wording from the English version.
そうね。お父さんたちも心配していたし、行ってみましょうよ。
Let's see. And then the translation from Kagome. Google Translate worded it weirdly. Worded it as, well, your parents were worried about you, so let's go. I think it's supposed to say, well, her parents were worried about her. But in the English version, Kagome says, yes, her father was really worried, let's go. Well, again, remove that yes. God, the English version constantly using yes as a for every form of confirmation is so stupid. And I don't like it. So, yeah, Kagome saying, well, her parents were worried about her, so let's go. Is definitely what I'd go with instead.
そうだね。そうしようか。
See, and Kururugi agrees with, yeah, let's do that. Where the English version says, okay, let's go.
Ah, 皆さん、よくぞご無事で帰ってきなさった。
Let's see. And then Sachi's mother says, oh, everyone, I'm glad you all returned safely. Well, in the English version, says, hi, everyone, I'm glad to see you all came back safely. Slight rewording. I do prefer the translated version there.
本当にありがたいことですじゃ。娘からあんたらのことを聞いてお礼をと思って待っとったんじゃよ。
Let's see. The translation from the father is, I'm truly grateful. I heard about you guys from my daughter, and I wanted to thank you. In the English version, it says, thank you so much. My daughter told me all about what happened. We were waiting for the chance to thank you. Let's see. I do prefer the wording that I'm getting from Google Translate over the English version. In this case.
これで村が妖怪に襲われることもないはずだわ。ね、犬夜叉。
Okay, Kagome responds with, now the village won't be attacked by monsters again. Right, InuYasha? Again, change monsters to yokai or demons. The English version, she says, you shouldn't have any more problems with demons for now. Right, InuYasha? Again, I am going to prefer the translated version over what the English version has.
おかげでこっちはひでえ目にあったけどな。
Let's see. So in the English version, InuYasha's response to this is, yeah, but only because we had to face great danger. While the translation says, well, thanks for that, we had a terrible time. Well, thanks to that, we had a terrible time. Yeah, I'm definitely going to prefer the translated version over the English version. But specifically because InuYasha admitting that something was dangerous for him doesn't sit right with me. Like, he's very quick to call out when a situation is dangerous for others, especially for like Kagome and Shippo. But like he wouldn't admit to being in danger. So just saying that, like, they just changing it so that he's saying that everyone had a pretty rough time trying to get the guy's daughter back sounds a bit more in line with his character.
Yeah, 全くそうじゃろう。恐ろしい化け物だったでな。
All right. Here, the father says, yes, indeed, it was a frightening monster. While the English version, he says, oh yes, it must have been so frightening. Again, going with the translated version. Just because in that sense, he's speaking from experience of being afraid of the spider, and not really wanting to imply that everyone else in the group was afraid, even though everyone but InuYasha certainly was. But like, he doesn't know that. And like, sure, the English version is trying to make the assumption, but given InuYasha's demeanor, that just feels a little weird to me.
ところでこれは娘を助けてもらったお礼なんじゃが、受け取ってはもらえないじゃろうか。
Let's see. And then he continues with, by the way, this is a thank you for helping my daughter, but I don't think you'll accept it. Oh? Hold on. That seems different. Let's see, the English version. He says, this is something we would like to give you to show our appreciation for saving... Oh. To show our appreciation for saving our daughter. Will you accept it, please? Huh. No, it's interesting that the Japanese version has the, but I don't think you'll accept it. Oh! Duh. The other translator, right, there's a reason why I use more than one translator, because sometimes I get issues like this. So, the D-Bell translator, while most of its translation result is garbage, it ends on "wouldn't you take it," referring to what he's trying to give everyone. So, retranslating it as, by the way, this is a thank you for helping my daughter. Would you take it? The English version, I guess, doesn't do too bad of a job. So I guess I could take that too. Doesn't really matter.
これはお金？なんだか受け取りにくいな。
Let's see. Kururugi's response is, this is money? It's kind of hard to accept. Although, the D-Bell translator says, kind of hard to take. The English version, Kururugi says, money? I don't know if I could take this. I'd go for a bit of rewording. Have Kururugi say, is this money? I don't know if I can I don't know if I can accept this. Because again, we get a bit more on Kururugi as a character with him being humble and modest. He doesn't think he did enough to warrant receiving a reward. Now, granted, well, it was technically a group effort to have done it, but it's still interesting that Kururugi is the type to say, like, no, I don't deserve a reward. I didn't do anything worthwhile, even though Kururugi is the one who saved everyone's asses.
そう言わんで受け取ってくれんか。すまんことをしたお詫びの気持ちもあるんじゃ。
Let's let's see. And then the translation here from the father is, well, if you say so, would you please accept it? I'm sorry, I feel like I have to apologize. I don't know, that feels weirdly worded. The English version, he says, please accept it. Oh, and I missed that again. In the English version, he says, please accept it. It is our thanks and an apology for how we treated you at first. Huh. I'm having trouble thinking of how I'd reword the translation. Like, sticking with Kururugi is like, I don't know if I don't think I can accept this reward. Change the first one to, well, even if you say so, would you please accept it? As for the, I'm sorry, I feel like I have to apologize. Like, trying to fit that to the... let's see. I guess I'd reword it as, think of it as an apology for how we treated you. I guess that could work.
ほんの少しですが、何かのお役に立つじゃろと思って。
The mother, according to the translation, says, it's just a little bit, but I thought it might be of some use. While the English version, she says, it's only a little, but perhaps it will help somehow. I mean, similar enough. It's similar enough. I could go with either or. But, I am a little over time from when I usually decide to take a break, so we're gonna take another quick break. And we're back. Terribly sorry for being late. What have I missed? It's a fair bit. We defeated the spider demon, rescued Sachi, spoke to Kakuju, and found out some interesting stuff about Shikigami that is completely contextually different from the English version, and it is blowing my mind still. Like, I don't, like, to the point that I don't remember the last time I've been so excited regarding this game. So, Maria, if you remember from when I streamed the English version back in March, like, there was a whole thing of Kakuju explaining how Shikigami is a power that exists in all things in the universe, and they were essentially trying to equate it to, like, Ki from Dragon Ball, or, Spirit Power from Yu Yu Hakusho. So that wasn't the case with the previous stream, where Kakuju said that Shikigami is a divine power. And just this stream, a little while ago, Kakuju outright says that you summon Shikigami. Kururugi is a summoner. And that is blowing my mind right now. So all this time, it wasn't Kururugi, like, just throwing energy shit around. Or light or whatever. That's just for Kururugi's basic attack. Everything else has been Kururugi summoning a Shikigami familiar to attack for them. Not like we didn't see that in the show. Technically, no, we didn't. Technically, no, we didn't. The closest we had was Tsubaki, Botan, and Momiji from the Dark Priestess Tsubaki arc, which was like a 5-episode thing in the anime. Those priestess girls with Tsubaki. Yeah. But, of course, the difference there is they use paper dolls to create puppets. Kururugi, whereas, the way it seems to be in this game is that they use Shikigami. Yeah, they did. Because that was where Shikigami first showed up in the series. That's where Shikigami were first mentioned. But again, in the show and the manga, the way they displayed Shikigami is that they were made them from hair, even at one point. Kind of, so the way they described Shikigami in the manga and anime is that it's a bit of paper that is transformed into a familiar of sorts. We saw this with Tsubaki and her snake. But then with Botan and Momiji, they had their little dolls. By taking some of InuYasha's and Kagome's hair, they were able to make these giant goofy-ass dolls of InuYasha and Kagome to try and fight the originals. But the way it seems to work here, we still have the instances of InuYasha saying that Kururugi destroyed the demon back at the beginning of the game with a strange light. So there is still like some form of light involved. So in Cursed Mask case, the Shikigami are like the actual animals and such that we'll get to those when we get to them. But we see them, if you remember from when I did the English version, every time I used one of Kururugi's techniques, like it had Kururugi surrounded by a colored light, but then above Kururugi was some kind of animal that was in the same color as that light. So the way I believe they're trying to imply this is the Shikigami spirit is composed of this light energy and then attacks. So it's still very much different from what the anime and manga did with its portrayal of Shikigami. But it's definitely not a case of this version of Shikigami being pure energy. It's actually summoning creatures rather than using dolls and stuff. So, like, very different context between the English and Japanese versions of this. Let's see. This is the one I did last. Yeah. Yeah.
でも
And Kururugi just being like, but, because, again, Kururugi's character doesn't think that they're deserving of a reward because they are incredibly modest and humble.
ああも言ってくださるし、ありがたく受け取っておいてもいいんじゃないかしら。
And then it's Kagome who's like, who has to push Kururugi into accepting it. Like, Kururugi has to be told it's okay to accept a reward. A little interesting because you could definitely hear Kagome say arigato, and the text is there, so there should be a mention in the translation about... Yeah. Okay. Okay. Give me a sec here. I'm so glad I have more than one translator on hand. So, the English version... Kagome says, I think we should accept it. Just plain and simple. The Google Translate translated it as, I think it's okay to be grateful and accept the offer. The D-Belt translator definitely has things worded very badly. But it mentions taking the money as a thank you. Likely for the apology that the other guy mentioned. The Google Translate one, that makes sense. Right, like, just given... Like, the Google Translate version is definitely better than what the D-Bell translator gave me. That's for sure. But... just considering there was the mention of arigato, I do feel like there should be a little bit more to it. Because, again, the father of the girl was like... Even if you won't accept the money as a reward for saving our daughter, at least accept it as an apology for how we treated you when we first met. So, it feels like Kagome's trying to say, at least accept it as a thank you for the apology. I don't know, it's just a little weird. But otherwise, yeah, I'd say I'd stick with the Google Translate one just because there's a little more to it than simply I think we should accept it.
Soだね。じゃあもらっとくよ。ありがとう。
All right. The English version, Kururugi responds with, "You're right, I will accept it then, thank you." While the translation has Kururugi say, "That's right, then I'll take it, thank you." Which... I don't know, I do think having... No, I do think the English version is actually worded a bit better. Because, having, like, responding first with, "You're right," instead of "That's right," just kind of sounds better to me. As a response to Kagome's, "I think you should be grateful and accept it." But then the rest of it, like, is fine. I'll take the English version. That says 1,000, but the way Japan writes numbers gets a little weird, so... It says... Oh, hold on! What? Okay, so the English version says... You got 1,000 total. The translation states you got 1,000 gold. This should not be gold. I need to...
それでは皆さん、本当にありがとうございました。
I'm gonna have to check the menu to see where the money is, and then see what they call the money, because in the English version it's just money. So, this is gonna be interesting, because that should not be gold. It absolutely should not be gold. Especially not from peasants. Like, little villagers. They should not have gold. Let's see, the English version, he says, everyone, thank you so much. While the translation has him say, well then, everyone, thank you so much. So, I'd prefer the translated version.
お兄ちゃんたちありがとね。
Okay. So there she said Oni-chan Tachi, which usually means, like, when speaking to multiple people. Thanks, big brothers. But the English version had her say simply, thank you. I still don't think big brothers should be the correct translation here. I'd probably instead say thanks, misters, referring to InuYasha and Kururugi because they are the older looking ones compared to her. Shibo's age is still up for debate. No, I am not going to discuss it. Alright, hold up, where's the money? Is this it? Is this the word? Yeah, no, that just says money in possession. So it doesn't say gold. Whoops! I closed the translator. Oh no! Bring back the translator, please! Thank you. Yeah, no, like that should not say, like, that should not have said gold. Oh, get out of there. But, now we're finally done here. So we can finally head back to Kaede's village. Do a proper save. Although, let's face it, I'm probably going to have to end the stream on another save state. Because it's time for the fun part.
Oh, 帰ってきたか。
Let's see. And Kaede saying, oh, you're back. Definitely sounding a little bit more surprised. Probably surprised that we're back so soon. Oh. Come on now. Let's see. Here we go. Just needed to get the English version of when I streamed back in March up so that I have something to compare to. Let's see. Okay, so the English version, Kaede says, "Oh, you've come back." Google Translate translated the text here as, "Oh, you're back." And Deep L, for some reason, translated it as, "Oh, you're home." Except this isn't home, so... I think I would revert it to, "Oh, you've returned already." Or simply, "Oh, you've returned." I don't know.
ただいま、楓おばあちゃん。
Granted, there's the tadaima, which is usually what you say when you get back home. English version, Kururugi says, "We're back, Kaede." The Deep translator translated this as, "I'm home, Grandma Kaede." While the Google Translate translated it as, "I'm back, Grandma Kaede." Yeah, I guess Kaede saying, "Oh, you're back," with Kururugi responding, "We're back, Grandma Kaede." Makes sense. It's fine.
どうだった？何か手がかりはつかめたのか？
Let's see. This was translated as, how was it? Did you get any clues? On both Google Translate and the DeepL translator. The English version, Kaede said, "So, did you find any clues?" Honestly fine with either or.
それが。
Let's see. In the English version, Kururugi responds with, "No, not really." While the translator translates this as a simple, "That's," with a pause. Like very hesitantly saying, "That's," with a pause.
でも式神とかいうすごい力が使えるようになったんじゃ。
Let's see. In the English version, Shippo says, "But we learned how to use the power of Shikigami." But while the translator says, the translator worded this a bit poorly, with Shippo saying, "But now I can use amazing powers called Shikigami." I can't reword that as, "but now we can use," because, again, Kururugi's the only one that can. Again, this is a weird one that would have to be made gender specific depending on if you're playing as Michiru or Kagome. To say, but now, to either say, "but now he or she can use," again, in reference to whether you're playing as the boy or the girl, or go the gender neutral, "but now they can use amazing powers called Shikigami." So, like, so this is another instance of the Japanese version implying that for Cursed Mask's timeline, the Kagome and the others have not met Tsubaki yet, because otherwise they would have known about Shikigami. But here, Shippo's saying that, hey, we have access to this amazing power called Shikigami, suggesting they'd never heard of it before. But the English version, Shippo says we learned how to use the power of Shikigami, which may imply that, like, hey, remember this stuff Tsubaki used? We can use that now too. So again, like, another interesting context change.
犬夜叉がやられそうになった時にその式神の力で救ったんじ
ゃ。By the way, Maria, does the video still look fine to you? Still at the right quality? And then in the English version, Shippo continues with, just as InuYasha was about to get killed, he was saved with the Shikigami power. That looks good. Be right back. All right, no problem. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. More context change. More context change. The translation of this dialogue, Shippo says, when InuYasha was about to be killed, he was saved by the power of that Shikigami. This is very much implying Shippo is referring to a specific Shikigami that saved everyone. Whereas the English version is, like, Shippo's just referring to Shikigami, again, as a singular power. DeepL Translate absolutely fucked that one up. Let's see. InuYasha saying, shut up, Shippo, according to the translation. English version, he says, oh, shut up, Shippo. I mean, same thing. Same thing.
あれだってみんなが動けるようになっただけだし。
Let's see. English version, Kururugi says, no, it just freed everyone and that was all. While the translator has this as, no, that's just because everyone can now... oh boy. No, that's just because everyone can now move. I do think that's worded incorrectly. Let's see, compared to the English version, just freed everyone. I think better worded, it should be, no, all it did was free everyone.
まだまだ頑張んないとみんなのお荷物になっちゃうよ。
Let's see. What does this one say? Huh. Okay, no, that's worded weirdly. Okay, that's interesting. Okay. The English version, Kururugi continues with, I have so much more to learn, or I'll just slow everyone down. I'm getting some interesting translations from both Google Translate and the DeepL Translator. From Google Translate, worded weirdly, it gives, if you don't keep trying, you'll become a burden to everyone. While the DeepL Translator says, sorry about that, just my phone going off. According to the DeepL Translator, Kururugi is saying, I still have to do my best. You'll be a burden to everyone. Let's see. Comparing to the English version, I think a better translation would be, I still have to do my best, or I'll just be a burden to everyone. Or I'll just become a burden to... Sorry. Let me try that again. Better worded, the translation should probably be, I still have to do my best, or I'll become a burden to everyone. That sounds a bit better to me.
まあ多少時間がかかっても無理せず焦らずに行くことだ。
Let's see. And according to the translator, Kakuju says, well, even if it takes a little time, don't push yourself and don't rush. At least according to Google Translate, the DeepL translator has her say, well, even if it takes a little longer, we must take it easy and not be too hasty. While the English version had her say, even if it takes time, don't push yourself too hard. Be patient. I mean, the wording isn't too different from the Google Translate, so I could go with either of those. I do think the DeepL translation is a little weird.
さあ、今日は疲れておるだろうから、もう寝た方が良いだろう。
Let's see. And then here, the translation says, well, you must be tired today, so you should go to bed now. While the English version, she says, I'm sure you're all very tired, so it's probably best if you go to bed now. I mean, either one is fine. The English version or the translation.
おう、ほらもう疲れてクタクタじゃ。
Let's see. Here, the DeepL translator is translating Shippo's dialogue as, oh, I'm tired and weary. While Google Translate has it as, yeah, I'm exhausted. But the English version had him say, yeah, I'm pretty tired. I'm honestly fine with either the English version or the Google Translate result. Either of those are fine. Welcome back, Maria.
そうね。それじゃあおやすみなさい、カエデおばあちゃん。
here, Kagome says, well then, good night, Grandma Kaede. While the English version had her say, I agree. Well, good night, Kaede. So, could go for either or. Let's see. This should be more of Kururugi's inner thoughts.
戦国時代って聞いたときはどうなることかと思って。
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I love seeing that bracket. I love seeing that bracket now. It definitely helps freaking contextualize stuff from the English version. Let's see. According to this translation, it says, when I heard about the Warring States period, I wondered what would happen. While the English version, Kururugi thoughts are, I didn't know what was going to happen when I heard them say it was the feudal era.
友達もできたし、頑張っていけるかも。
I've made some friends, so maybe I can do my best. While the English version had him continue with, but I've made some friends, and I might be able to get through this. I mean, I could go with either or.
ねえ犬夜叉、今日は息抜きにお休みにしない？
Alright, here we go. Here, Google Translate says that Kagome is saying, "Hey, InuYasha, why don't we take a break today and take a rest?" While the English version, she says, "Hey, InuYasha, should we take the day off today?"
Yasumi?
Huh. Interesting translation. So the English version, InuYasha responds with, oh, come on. In the English version, InuYasha questioningly responds with the day off. But the translation I'm getting from Google Translate, he says holiday, even though the previous translation, Kagome said take a rest. So I'm curious. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is a case of the word in Japanese having several meanings, because of course. Let's see. I don't know what I'd have this say then. Because hold on, I need to run the other one through again. Let's see. Kagome said, why don't we take a break today and take a rest? Okay, no, I think I know what it could be. So if we stick with InuYasha's response of holiday, Kagome's translation should be, hey, InuYasha, why don't we take a break today and have a holiday? Huh, interesting. Interesting here. So in the English version, Shippo responds with, "What's up, Kagome?" The two translations I'm getting, the one from Deep L translates Shippo's question as, "What's the matter with you all of a sudden, Kagome?" While the Google Translate result, Shippo is asking, "What's happened all of a sudden, Kagome?" I certainly don't think I'd use the Deep L translation result, but I'm fine with either the Google Translate result or the English version for this one from Shippo.
初めてのことばかりが続いて、とても疲れてると思うの。
Let's see. Let's see. Translator has this as, okay. So Kagome is now directing her attention. Okay, no, this is interesting. In the English version, Kagome says, "Our friend must be exhausted since everything is so new." But according to the translation, Kagome is directly addressing Kururugi, while the English version, it's like Kagome is specifically answering Shippo, but also talking to InuYasha, but not talking to Kururugi by simply saying, "Our friend must be exhausted." The translation, Kagome says, "I think you must be very tired, Michiru, because you've been experiencing so many new things for the first time."
少しのんびりしてみるのもいいんじゃないかなと思って。
And continues with, "I thought it might be a good idea to relax for a bit." So the Japanese version very much makes it out that Kagome makes it much more out that Kagome is looking out for Kururugi, because she directly addresses Kururugi when saying this, according to the translation. While the English version, again, says, "Our friend must be exhausted since everything is so new." I thought we could take it easy today. Huh. Interesting translation from that. I'm not going to use it. Let's see. According to Google Translate, Shippo says, "I see. Kagome is kind." Oh, no. Oh. These weird freaking translations, I swear. So, Google Translate is translating this as, "I see. Kagome is kind. I'm a teacher." I don't know why. The Deep L translation isn't much better, with Shippo saying, "I'm sure you're right. Kagome is a gentle. I am the third generation." In the English version, Shippo says, I see. You're so nice, Kagome. I agree. So I'm pretty sure the translation is supposed to be, I see. Kagome is so kind. I'm in agreement.
しかし、バラバラで行動するのもいかがなものか。
And here is where, in the Japanese version, we get our first introduction to Miyoga. So I'm curious what the interaction with Kururugi here is going to be. Because since because in the English version, since we have that little area at the start before arriving at Kaede's village where we can meet Miyoga, that isn't in the Japanese version, so I wonder if the interaction is going to be any different. Let's see. Uh-oh, did I? Yeah, I did. I did copy that already. So the translation is, but is it really a good idea for us to act separately? While the English version says, but I don't think it's a good idea for us to split up. Which, contextually, is similar enough.
誰?
Oh. Hold on. Oh. Yep. Here we go. This is different. Haha. Because in the English version, if you already met Miyoga from that early section that doesn't exist in the Japanese version, it cuts straight to InuYasha saying, huh? Oh, it's Miyoga. But now we have Kururugi making a response asking, who's that?
Huh?
And now we get InuYasha's, oh, it's just Miyoga. Let's see. Yeah, the translation says, it's Miyoga.
InuYasha-sama, お久しゅうございます。
Oh, come on. Let's see. In the English version, Miyoga responds with, it's been a while, InuYasha. The translator says, InuYasha-sama, it's been a while, so it should be Master InuYasha, it's been a while. I'm pretty sure. But otherwise, it's the exact same from... So, here it is! Okay. So they just kind of moved the, this... Hold on. It's been so long since I've played the English version and skipped that first screen fight that could introduce Miyoga and instead first meet him here. So I don't remember what the English version of first meeting Myoga here is like. But Kururugi says, "Oh, a small person? Who is this?" In the English version, if you got the scene in the area that doesn't exist in the Japanese version, I believe the equivalent from there is such a small person. Is he a demon too? And then, yeah, here's Myoga doing the introduction. Let's see. Myoga says, "Oh, this is the first time I've ever seen such a thing. I'm Master InuYasha's guardian, Myoga. Okay, so that needs to be reworded. It should say, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen, someone like you. Or, no, hold on. No. The translation should be, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen you. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds better. Translation should be, oh, this is the first time I've ever seen you. I'm Master InuYasha's guardian, or the English version says bodyguard, Myoga. And then here, if this is the line I think it is, the English version is, how can you say you're my bodyguard if you're running away at the first sign of danger? Yeah, InuYasha says, when things get a little dangerous, you run away right away, yet you're the one keeping an eye on me? And then, in the English version, if you first met Myoga at that, he says, never mind that, and then says, there are still demons around, but here, says, for this situation, says, well, that aside, I will accept Kagome's suggestion from earlier. He mentioned yokai, so... So, Myoga says... Yeah, there are demons all around. Just to be on the safe side, I think it would be best for us to move in groups as much as possible. I definitely need to do a bit of the English version and run through this part without having the earlier meeting to see if like any of this is there. So Kagome says, it's certainly as Grandpa Myoga said. I don't want to put you in danger. I'm pretty sure she's directing that to Kururugi because, yeah, Kururugi's the new kid on the block. Like, gotta look out for them. Let's see. Shippo says... Then how about we spend our vacation together as a group? Okay, so Kagome's earlier mention of take a rest with InuYasha responding with holiday it should be a mention of vacation instead of holiday,
賛成。犬夜叉はどう思う？
I guess. And then Kagome, what? What the hell is this first word? What? What? Give me a sec here. Okay. Okay, so the word is apparently sansei, but for whatever reason, the translator refuses to translate it. But it's supposed to say... but apparently it's supposed to be a form of agreement, so I agree. And, okay, so Kagome is supposed to be saying, I agree. What do you think, InuYasha?
ああ、まあいいんじゃないか。
InuYasha responding with... well, isn't that okay? Let's see. What? I needed... Yeah, the English version, Shippo was saying, so let's make teams of 2 and go about our day. With Kagome saying, agreed. What do you think, InuYasha? And InuYasha agreeing with, well, sure, why not? Alright.
本当？じゃあ決まり。
Alright. Then Kagome getting excited. Really? Then it's settled. Where the English version, she said, really? It's decided then. Before asking, so, Kururugi, who do you want to travel with today?
今日は誰と一緒に過ごしたい？
Here. The translators have it as... So, Michiru, who would you like to spend the day with today? InuYasha, Kagome, or... Hold on. What's that extra stuff? What's that extra stuff? Okay, so in the English version, when you go to select who you spend time with, it's just their names. But according to the translations, these say, spend time with InuYasha, spend time with Kagome, spend time with Shippo. Alright. But we'll make our decision after this next break. Alright, and we're back. So of course, for the best possible translation I can get, at least to compare to, we're spending time with Kagome.
ありがとう。
After all, that is the name of these streams, so... Let's see. In the English version, Kagome says a simple thank you. Here, she says, well, thank you, but given her tone of voice, it almost sounds like she was a little flustered, I think.
今日は天気もいいし、のんびりと昼寝でもすっか。
Here, though, I think it's random what they say. Let's find out. In the English version, okay. In the English version, InuYasha says, "It's such a nice day today, I think I'll take a nap." With Shippo saying, "Good idea, me too." According to the... Excuse me. According to the Google Translator, InuYasha says, "The weather is nice today, so I'll take a nice nap." The Deep Elf Translator, he says, "It's a beautiful day, I'm going to take a nice leisurely nap." With Shippo saying, "Okay, I'll join you too." Alright, and here, Kagome says, "Come on, let's go too." While in the English version, she just says, "Let's go too." And now we get into the actual fun part of the comparisons. How did the day off events compare?
今日は何をするの、かごめさん。
Kururugi asks, "What are you doing today, Kagome?" While the English version, Kururugi says, "What are you going to do today, Kagome?"
このところみんなろくなもの食べてなかったでしょ。
Let's see. Kagome. Oh! Oh! Hold on! Oh! Oh, I think we're getting some more context change! Oh! Let's see. In the English version, Kagome responds with, "Well, no one's been eating very well lately." But according to the translation, Kagome's directing this at Kururugi. With, "You haven't been eating much recently, have you?" So, it...
何か美味しいものでも作ろうかと思って。
Oh, shit. Give me a sec. Oh, this could be really interesting. In the English version, she continues with, "So I was thinking I could make a good meal," while the translator says, "I was thinking of making something delicious." So far, the context change is that in the English version, Kagome's trying to look out for everyone. Because, of course. But according to the translation, she's specifically noticing that Kururugi apparently hasn't been eating all that well, so she wants to make some good food for him so that he eats healthier. Or so that Kururugi eats healthier. So it's going to be interesting when I eventually get to Kaname's version, because the Kaname's take on the event is slightly different.
みんなのこと考えてか。やっぱりかごめさんって優しいな。
Huh. Give me a moment. So the English version, this is supposed to be Kururugi's inner thoughts, is Kagome's always thinking about everybody. She's a really kind person. So it fits in line with Kagome earlier saying that no one's been eating all that well lately. But the translation here, Kururugi's thoughts are thinking about everyone. Kagome is really kind after all. So I have to wonder then if that initial bit from Kagome saying, remarking that you haven't been eating very well was worded incorrectly in the translator. The Deep L translator has Kururugi's thoughts as thinking about everyone else, huh? I knew it, Kagome. You're so sweet.
大したものは作れないんだけどね。
Let's see. Translated, Kagome is apparently saying, I can't make much, though. While the English version, she says, I can't cook anything too fancy.
ねえ、畑からお芋とネギを取ってきてくれない？
Let's see. And here, she says, hey, from the fields, could you please get me some potatoes and onions? Considering she said negi, she is specifically referring to green onions. From the English version, she says, can you get some potatoes and onions from the garden? So, yeah, for whatever reason, they don't specify green onions, even though that is what she said from negi.
その間に下ごしらえしておくから。
Huh. Okay. In the English version, Kagome then says, I'll get things ready while you do that. Google Translate has this as, in the meantime, I'll prepare the ingredients. But according to the Deep L translator, Kagome says, meanwhile, I'll prep it for you. So, getting some interesting signals here.
わかった。
In the English version, Kururugi simply responds with okay, while according to Google Translate, Kururugi says, yeah, I understand.
じゃあ行ってくるよ。
More here. All right, and then in the English version, Kururugi says, I'll go get him now. Well, according to the translator, Kururugi says, well, I'm off now. Okay.
Kagomeさん、取ってきたよ、ネギとお芋。ついでに人参も。
Let's see. So we return. In the English version, Kururugi says, Kagome. Oh, hold on. Let's get that back up. Kururugi says, Kagome, here's the onions and potatoes. I found some carrots too. Oh, I did not screenshot that. Okay. While according to the translator, Kururugi says, Kagome, I picked some green onions and potatoes, and carrots too. So, not too different, but for some reason now the translator does specify green onions.
ちょうどよかった。ね、ちょっと手伝ってくれない？
Let's see. Okay. In the English version, Kagome responds with, "Perfect. Do you think you could help me a little bit?" While the translator starts off a bit weird with, "It was just great. Hey, can you help me out a bit?" I think the first sentence needs to be reworded probably to either "that sounds great" or "that's a great idea," and then "hey, can you help me out a bit?"
Mm, いいけど。
Right, and then in the English version, Kururugi responds with, "Yes, I can." The translator says, "Yeah, that's fine though." I'm actually going to go with the Deep L translator results here, which is simply, "Yeah, that's fine." Because, like, Kagome asked, "Hey, do you think you could help?" So, Kururugi responding with, "Yeah, that's fine."
あ、お弁当にしてるんだ。
Is a good idea. Let's see. Oh, okay. So here we get something a little interesting. In the English version, Kururugi says, "Oh, you're making a bento box." And even though in the Japanese version, you could clearly hear Kururugi mention an obento, it's apparently getting translated as lunch. In which case, the translation should be, "Oh, you're making lunch." So I think it's supposed to be, "Oh, you're making a packed lunch." Let's see. Kame's response is, "Yeah, looks like we'll be heading out again tomorrow." While in the English version, she says, "Yes, I think we're going to be traveling pretty far tomorrow." Okay, slight context difference. English version, she believes that the group's going to be going fairly far. Whereas, according to the translation, she's like, "We're definitely going to be heading out again. How far? No idea. But we're heading out, so..." Let's see. Remember, this was in 2004. Most Americans wouldn't know what a bento box is. Yeah, so it's super weird that the English version mentioned bento box. I agree that packed lunch would have been better. I mean, like packed lunch or boxed lunch, if they were actually trying to keep it like localized for English. For 2004, it would have been, yeah, like either packed lunch or boxed lunch. But then it gets interesting because there's an event later on where Kururugi mentions a comic book that they borrowed from Kagome. But in the Japanese version, it should say manga. So it's weird that the English version says bento box, but then comic book instead of manga.
"料理してるカゴメさんか。家庭的な雰囲気もいいな。
Let's see.
ちょっと得した気分だ。
Oh, hold on. This now you could say bento box and more people would know. Def weird. Yeah. Oh, this might be interesting. What did the English version do for this one? Okay. This is interesting because there's a full dialogue change from the English and Japanese version. In the English version, this this bit of thought dialogue from Kururugi says, "Look at Kagome cooking. It's great that she's so good at it. We're so lucky." The translations, however, very much seem to suggest something a bit more romantic. According to Google Translate, Kururugi is thinking, "Kagome-san is cooking. It's a nice homely atmosphere. I feel like I've gotten something out of it." Whereas according to the Deep L translator, says that Kururugi is thinking, "Kagome-san doing the cooking. I love the homey atmosphere too. I feel a little better for it." So, I think as far as the Japanese version is concerned, this is where Kururugi is already starting to... Maybe he just misses seeing his mom cooking? I think that depends on which translation you go for. If you use the one from the Deep L translator, of the "I love the homey atmosphere, I feel a little better for it," I could see that. I could see that if, like, maybe he misses home. I could see that if you went with the translation that I got from Deep L. But if you go for the one from Google Translate, while it does also have the "it's a nice homely atmosphere," the "I feel like I've gotten something out of it" makes it a little more interesting because of the "Kagome is cooking, it's a nice homely atmosphere, I feel like I've gotten something out of it." So he's probably already getting ideas of like this, like, you can get on me for this, for jumping the gun, but the way I'm kind of reading the translation that Google Translate is giving me is from the "I feel like I've gotten something out of it" is Kururugi is already getting ideas of being in the same home as Kagome while she's cooking. So Kururugi, at least Michiru, this would be Michiru specifically thinking, because Kaname's is different. Kaname's on a friendship route with Kagome, so she'd have different thoughts. But Michiru specifically would, like, seeing Kagome like this and having these thoughts according to Google Translate in the Japanese version, he's probably already starting to have thoughts of him and Kagome living together, and she's just randomly making food. And he's thinking of how wonderful how wonderful that sounds. So it's possible the Japanese version is already trying to get Michiru romantically interested in Kagome. But let's see where it goes, because I remember how this event ends in the English version.
ちょっと、何ぼーっと見てるの？
So let's see where this goes. I think he just misses home. He probably misses mom's cooking. Again, I think it depends on which translation you end up going with. Because, again, the one from Google Translate, it's a nice homely atmosphere. I feel like I've gotten something out of it. The I think I've gotten something out of it feels like there's a little more to where his line of thought is going. Anyway, Kagome is now calling Michiru out. Hey, what are you staring at? Which is the same thing in the English version. Alright. You're thinking too hard, dude. I can't help it. This is supposed to be a romance game.
あ、ごめん。あんまり手際がいいんで見とれてた。
Like, there's a reason this game is marketed as an otome. And also, InuYasha is first and foremost a romance story with some shonen action. Anyway. Let's see. In the English version, Michiru says, "Sorry, I was just admiring your skill." According to Google Translate, the translation is, "Oh, sorry, I was mesmerized by how well you did it." I heard that stutter. I heard that stutter. Yeah, there we go. The translator got the stutter. So Michiru saying, I'll help you. Whereas the English version is simply, I'll help. But there is no stutter to his voice in the English version, so... Interesting that Michiru has the stutter in the English version.
当たり前でしょ。そのために呼び止めたんだから。
Right, Kagome says, "It's obvious, isn't it? That's why I called you in." While the English version, she says, "Of course you will. That's why I called you."
ほら、まずそこの大根取って。そっちじゃない、人参でしょ、それ。
He got caught looking. He's embarrassed. Alright, translator says, "Hey, first pick up that radish." Not that one, that's a carrot. While the English version, she says, "Now take those radishes." No, not those are carrots. But of course, Kagome specifically mentioned daikon, so daikon radishes. Bit easier to understand it. Kururugi getting confused then because carrots just more or less look like very, very small and orange daikon radishes.
あ、ごめん。これ
Let's see. Let's see. In the English version, Michiru says, sorry. Oh, these? While, according to the translator, says, whoa, sorry, what's this?
謝る暇があったら手を動かす。
And now, of course, Kagome going pure mom mode. Because according to the translator, she says, if you have time to apologize, move your hand. Whereas in the English version, she says, if you have time to say you're sorry, you have time to work.
次は巻き終わってかまどの火を起こしたら川から水を汲んできて。
Next, oh. Next, oh, hold on. English version, I need you for comparison. English version is, she says, next you can chop the wood and make a fire in the oven, and bring some water from the river. So the translated is, unfortunately, the translation came out weird. As next, I chopped wood, started a fire in the stove, and fetched water from the river. I think it should say, next, go chop some wood, start a fire in the stove, and fetch water from the river. Otherwise, just stick with the English version on that one.
あ、ついでに汚れたお鍋も洗って。と、あとは。
And then the English version continues with, oh, yeah, and wash the dirty pots and there. While Google Translate is, oh, and also wash the dirty pots and the rest before trailing off. So,
Nah.
Let's see. What's this? Yeah, okay, so... Hang on, I need to check a thing. Okay, so... In the English version, Michiru's response to all that is a, huh. While according to the translator, he goes, what? Probably because he was completely unprepared for her to have a full list of things that she needed him to do. He legit thought that she was going to do all of this by herself.
Kagome さんって結構人使い荒いんだ。
Ooh, this is interesting. So in the English version, Kururugi has inner thoughts of Kagome sure likes to boss people around. But according to the translation, is Kagome, you're pretty rough with people. I don't know, I just kind of find that interesting a little. What the fuck? That is a weird-ass translation. Deep L, what the hell? Okay. So that closes off the event. According to the English version, this text says, Michiru had a fun time with Kagome. According to Google Translate, it says, Michiru had a great time with Kagome. I'm actually going to read off the Deep L translation because it is so weird. The Deep L translation translated this as... Michiru is a young woman who is in love with Kagome, and we had a good time. Let's see. And the translation for this is Michiru and Kagome's friendship level has increased. While the English version said Michiru gained a stronger friendship with Kagome. Let's see. What was it that I did after the English version? Right. If I can save, I'll take it and end stream because of what's going to happen next. Okay, good. Good, I can end on an actual save. And, as I mentioned, the portrait on the far right has changed to Kagome, so we are already starting on Kagome's route. But I think with that, we're gonna call it. The fight with the spider demon was incredibly short, but most importantly, I got a lot of context information regarding Shikigami in this game. And oh boy, that's got my brain a-going. And then we had an okay day off with Kagome. Next time, we'll see what we have to do next because there's a new person standing at the entrance of Kaede's village. So until then, this has been the Azure Guardian. See ya.